A very good morning to all. Today we are moving to a new topic. So I hope you all remember what we have learned in the last class. We discussed about the shoot system and we discussed about the functions of stem. So what are the functions of stem? So let's see what are the functions of stem. It bears branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. It supports branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. That is the first function of a stem. Then it carries water which is absorbed by the root to all parts of the plant. So that is the second function. Then the third function is that it carries food that is prepared by the leaves to all parts of the plant. So these are the functions of a stem. So moving on to the next topic. So we learnt that there are different parts of a plant that performs additional function. So the part of the plant that performs additional function, we say that it is modified. It is said to be modified. So now let's discuss about the modifications of stem. So the first one is stems modified to store food. So the stems perform additional function. That is, it is modified to store food. Plants like potato, ginger, turmeric, all these plants are modified to store their extra food in their stems. So these stems grow underground. So these plants have stems that grow underground. So these plants grow their extra food in their stems. These plants have stems with bud or eye on it. So if you closely observe this picture, you can see the picture of a potato. You can see it is having an eye on it. If you cut a piece of potato that is having an eye on it, and if you just place it in the moist soil under the favorable condition, it grows into a new plant. So these plants have stems that are modified to store their extra food in their stems. So that is about stems modified to store food. There are plants that store their extra food in their stems. So that part performs an additional function. So that it is said to be modified. Moving to the next one, modified stem to store water and make food. So there are stems that are modified to prepare food as well as to store water. So we all know about the cactus plant. So where do these cactus plants grow? They grow in deserts. So deserts are very dry. And we know that that place gets very little rainfall. So do these cactus plants have stems? So if you closely observe this picture, you can see this thick, fleshy green part. So that is the stem. So these stems have nodes and spines on it. And these stems store water. And these stems are modified to prepare food. So this modification of the stem helps the cactus plant to survive in the hot, sandy desert. So that modification helps this cactus plant to survive in the desert. So this cactus plant have a stem that store water and it prepare food. So this modification, this additional function that is performed by this stem helps this cactus plant to survive in the hot, sandy desert. Moving to the next one, stems modified to provide additional support. Plants like bitter gourd, grapevine, so all these plants have very weak stem. These plants cannot grow erect, which means these plants cannot grow straight. Why? Because they have a very weak stem. For that, these plants need additional support. To help the plants to coil around the support, the stems are modified into tendrils. So if you see this picture, you can see the thread-like structures. That is called as the tendrils. So there are plants which have weak stems. So plants that have weak stems cannot grow straight. To help the plant to coil around a support, the stems are modified into tendrils. So it is the tendrils that coil around the nearby objects and it helps the plant to grow upwards. So stems are modified to provide additional support. The first one we learned, stems are modified to store food. Then we learned stems are modified to store water and prepare food. Now we discussed about stems that are modified to provide additional support. Moving to the next one, that is about leaves. So most plants have green leaves. Leaves have thin, flat surface that helps to receive sunlight. So leaves are arranged in such a manner that helps to get enough sunlight because leaves need sunlight to prepare food. So these leaves are arranged in such a manner to receive more sunlight. The food is prepared in the leaves. The leaves are broad and flat that helps to receive more sunlight. So different plants have different types of leaves, right? Do all leaves look the same? No. So we can identify a plant based on its leaf. Leaves differ in their shape, size, etc. But the structure of the leaf remains the same. So that is what we are going to discuss now. The parts of a leaf remains the same. So even the leaves differ in their size or shape, the part of a leaf, it remains the same. It is same. So now let's discuss about the different parts of a leaf. So all of you just closely observe the picture of this leaf. So here you can see this flat broad surface. So can you all see this flat broad surface? And that part we call it as the lamina or the leaf blade. So what it is? It is called as the lamina or leaf blade. This flat broad surface is called as the lamina or leaf blade. So this part is green in color due to the presence of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment that is present on the leaves that makes the leaves appear green. So the first part that is called as the lamina or leaf blade, that is this flat broad surface, that is called the lamina or leaf blade. Moving to the next part, if you again closely observe this picture, you can see this thick line in the center, that is the main vein, and it is called as the midrib. What it is? It is called as the midrib. Then if you again see this picture, you can see thin veins are originating from this midrib, and that is called as the leaf veins. So first we discussed about this flat broad surface, that is the lamina. Then we discussed about this thick main vein, that is the midrib. And if you closely observe this picture, again you can see this thin veins are originating from the midrib, which is called as the leaf veins. So this leaf veins gives shape to the leaf and it transports food and water to all parts of the plant. So the leaf veins that are originating from the midrib. The next part is the stalk, the leaf stalk, and that is called as the petiole. So this part is called as the petiole. The leaf stalk is called as the petiole. So these are the different parts of a leaf. The first part is the lamina, and you can see the thick main line in the middle, that is the midrib. Then you can see the thin veins that are originating from the midrib, which is called as the leaf veins. Then you can see this leaf stalk, which is called as the petiole. So these are the different parts of a leaf. I hope it is clear to you. Moving to the next one, we discussed about leaf veins. So these leaf veins are arranged in a definite pattern, and that is called venation. So that is called the term venation. So what is venation? The leaf veins that are arranged in a definite pattern, that is called venation. So in different leaves, the leaf veins are arranged in a definite pattern. So that is called venation. And venation are of two types. The first one is reticulate venation and the second one is parallel venation. So what is venation? The leaf veins are arranged in a definite pattern, that is called venation. It can be of two types, that is reticulate venation and parallel venation. So let's see the first one, that is reticulate venation. You can see the picture of a leaf here. So if you closely observe this picture, you can see the leaf veins are originating from the midrib, and these leaf veins are spread in all directions and they form a network. See, the leaf veins originating from the midrib, they spread in all directions and they form a network. So that is reticulate venation, and it occurs in dicotyledonous plant. That is the plants that bear fruits with two seeds. Such plants we call it as dicotyledonous plant. Which is the next type of venation? It is the parallel venation. So here you can see the leaf veins are parallel to each other. Are they spread in all directions? No, they are parallel to each other and they do not form any network. So that is parallel venation. And parallel venation occurs in monocotyledonous plant. That is plants that bear fruits with one seed. So such plants we call it as monocotyledonous plant. So that is about parallel venation. Moving to the next topic, that is about stomata. So we know that plants need air to live. Leaves prepare food. So to prepare food, leaves need carbon dioxide. So how this air enters the plant? So this air enters the leaf through the tiny holes, and that is called as the stomata. So the leaf has many tiny pores, which is called as the stomata, and the air enters the leaf through this stomata. And plants also give out. It gives out oxygen and water vapor, and it also gives out the water vapor and oxygen through stomata. So the tiny pores which are present on the leaf, what do we call? We call it as the stomata. So that is about the topic stomata. So I hope the class was clear to you. You can go through page number 82 and 83 in your textbook. Read and understand what we have discussed today. We'll meet in the next class and discuss a new topic. Till then, thank you.